One of the most dangerous things we as humans do is drive. Just in the US, nearly 100 people die per day in traffic accidents. And in 2015, there were 35,000 traffic-related fatalities. Out of those, 10,300 took place on US highways and interstates. Now, that's slightly under one-third of all fatalities. This doesn't mean interstates and limited access highways are more dangerous, though. In fact, you're actually less likely to get in an accident on a freeway than you are on a surface road, though usually an accident is more likely to be fatal when you're driving at high speeds seen at these highways. And it also gets more detailed than that. It depends on which road you're on, because some are a lot more dangerous than others. So today we're going to take a look at the most dangerous US interstates, right after a word from today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by World of Tanks, the free-to-play game with over 100 million players worldwide and for PC. The game has more than 600 tanks, including destroyers, artillery, light, medium, and heavy tanks. There's always more ways to play and have fun on the game. There are over 40 unique areas, including open fields, deserts, forests, and even industrial and urban zones. Something I find especially appealing about the game is the historical accuracy that goes into the authentic models and vehicle characteristics. It makes you feel like you're in a real tank. You can earn experience, modify and upgrade your tank, and get so good you're ready for any challenge the game has to offer. It's genuinely really fun, so I suggest you try it out. If you want to download World of Tanks, click the first link in the description. During the registration, use the code TANKMANIA to get free 7 days premium account, 250,000 credits, the premium tank Excelsior tier 5, and 3 rental tanks for 10 battles each. Tiger 131 tier 6, Cromwell B tier 6, and T3485M tier 6. That should get you set up and ready to go for the game. Thank you so much to World of Tanks for sponsoring this video. So let's start our list off with the 10th most dangerous interstate in the country, I-20. So I-20 runs from western Texas around 160 miles east of El Paso all the way to Florence, South Carolina. It runs through major cities such as Dallas-Fort Worth, Jackson, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Columbia before it ends. With the highway running through the Sun Belt in more car-reliant areas, you see a lot more accidents, especially going through both Dallas and Atlanta. Between these two cities, you're going to see a lot of traffic. Now, its most dangerous city is Dallas, which reminds us that Texas comes up on this list a few too many times. As well as that, the most dangerous hour to be driving is from 2 to 3 a.m., and the fatalities per mile in the 5-year span from 2016 to 2019 is 0.55. Next up, we have I-5, which runs from the Mexico border in San Diego all the way up to the Canadian border in Blaine, Washington. I-5 goes through a lot of major cities on the West Coast, including Seattle and Portland, but also the main cities affecting the stats here, Los Angeles and San Diego. This whole SoCal area has way too much going on, which causes the main interstate that goes through both of them, I-5, to become a pretty dangerous drive. There are 0.61 fatalities per mile, with the most dangerous city being Los Angeles. No surprise there. The most dangerous hour to drive is 1 to 2 a.m. here, where through LA it's probably still jammed up anyways. Next up we have I-85, which runs from Montgomery, Alabama to Petersburg, Virginia. This one I'm personally surprised isn't higher. It starts by running from Montgomery to Atlanta, and then continuing through the southeast megalopolis and cities like Greenville, Charlotte, Greensboro, Durham, and Raleigh, before moving up to Richmond, Virginia, and ending just south of it. It's a major route through a growing car-dependent region, and it's on the rise up this list, but not to the top yet. The fatalities per mile is up at 0.61, with the most dangerous city being Charlotte, and the most dangerous time is from 4 to 5 a.m., which I'm not sure what that means, but it is different from most. Next up we have I-19, which runs for a very short 63-mile period between Tucson and the Mexican border. It actually interests me that this is so far up, with there being no specific reason I can find, especially with the most dangerous city being Sahuarita, a 35,000 population city south of the Tucson metro. I think it could have to do with the mountainous terrain of the area, but I'm just not sure. There are 0.63 fatalities per mile, and the most dangerous time to drive is from midnight to 1 a.m. Next up we have the Great I-95, which runs up the east coast from Miami to the Canadian border. This is one everyone would expect to see on the list, going through basically every major city, including Miami, Jacksonville, Richmond, Washington, Baltimore, Philly, New York, and Boston. I think its stats get brought down by the whole South region, where it kind of avoids the cities, but it's still incredibly high at 0.73 fatalities per mile. Now, try and guess what the most dangerous city is, because interestingly enough, it's Jacksonville. Something I didn't expect at all with cities like Miami and New York on this list. The most dangerous time to drive on I-95 is between 2 and 3 a.m. Next up we have I-30, which runs from just west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro over to Little Rock, Arkansas. It's a relatively short route, with the only very major metropolitan area it goes through being Dallas-Fort Worth. It's the main connector between the downtowns of the two cities, though. It's no surprise we see it this high at 0.65 fatalities per mile, and the most dangerous city being Dallas. The most dangerous time to drive is from 5 to 6 a.m. Getting pretty far into our list here, we have I-12, which runs from Baton Rouge to Slidell, Louisiana. If you don't know the highway, it's basically just a north bypass of the New Orleans metro. It's a short route and never leaves a relatively populated area, and for a good portion of the highway, it's at just 2 lanes on either side. All this has led to 0.67 fatalities per mile, with the most dangerous city being the only major city it runs through, Baton Rouge. Most dangerous time to drive is from 1 to 2 a.m. Getting into the top 3, we have I-17, running from Flagstaff to Phoenix, Arizona. This is another short route, running through some pretty major mountains for most of the route, and then the Phoenix Metro for the rest. This is another one where it really makes sense that it would be on this list. It's a pretty crazy drive through the mountains with a lot of tourism, resulting in drivers inexperienced in the area. So mix that with a very car-dependent metro in Phoenix, where it runs north from the downtown, with that being obviously the most dangerous city. All this together results in 0.71 fatalities per mile, with the most dangerous time being from 2 to 3 p.m., something that surprised me. At number 2 on this list, we have I-45 from Dallas to Galveston, Texas. This is the main route connecting up Dallas-Fort Worth to the Houston Metro. 2 metros with over 6 million residents. It's only 4 lanes for a good portion of the route, and there's just so much traffic moving between these two cities, it's just become a really crowded stretch of highway. This has resulted in 0.92 fatalities per mile, a big jump from our last one. The most dangerous city is Houston, which I think is interesting because it also goes through Dallas. The most dangerous time to drive is from 2 to 3 a.m. Finally, at number 1, you should know it if you're a fan of the channel, we have I-4. I have a full video on this channel if you're interested, but basically it runs from Tampa to Daytona Beach, going straight through an extremely populated region of Central Florida. A combination of tourism, construction, and bad drivers has resulted in this interstate seeing 1.13 fatalities per mile, well above any other in the country. This is the main route I think people should really try and avoid if possible. The most dangerous city is Orlando, and the most dangerous time of day is from midnight to 1 a.m. So as a whole, freeway travel may be less dangerous than surface roads, but these interstates have gotten really bad. So if you want, use this video as a guide on which routes to try and avoid. Thanks for watching. Thank you to the members this week: Obi Grad, Donda Shirlea, Elijah Pass, Big Pasty, Jeremy Crone, Uncouver, Wolflink73, Snyder Schwein, Florida Jake, Philip Gertz, Somnam Woods, Stormy Knight, Nikita Martinoff, Haystack, Benjamin Whiting, Ryan Devins, Hazev the Wolf, Jake Holloway, JL, Dominic Psyche, Rosebud 4, and Bryson. I appreciate you all so much. You really help out the channel. If you want to become a member, the link is down in the description below, as well as next to the subscribe button. You're just giving some extra money to help out the channel if you really appreciate the videos. All the money is going into like my future, my savings, getting a new car, stuff like that. So you're just helping me out as a person if you want. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.